Last week, a rider paid $240 at the dealership for a problem he could have fixed himself in 10 minutes with a screwdriver. The service writer charged him an hour of labor, marked up a $30 part to $65, and added shop fees. The worst part? The mechanic who did the work told me it was the easiest repair of his entire day. This happens thousands of times every single day. Riders with perfectly fixable problems getting fleeced because they don't know that most motorcycle issues are shockingly simple to solve at home. I'm about to show you the 5 most common problems that send people to the shop and how to fix every single one in your garage with basic tools. By the end of this, you'll wonder why you ever paid someone else to do this stuff. But first, I need to tell you about the problem that's probably killing your battery right now without you even knowing it. Dead batteries are the #1 reason motorcycles won't start. But here's what mechanics don't tell you. Most dead batteries aren't actually dead. They're just discharged from something called parasitic drain. Your bike has systems that draw tiny amounts of power even when it's off. The clock, the ECU memory, the alarm system. Normally, this is fine. But if you only ride once a week or less, that slow drain kills your battery over time. Here's how you know if your battery is the problem. Turn the key. Do your lights come on dim or not at all? Do you hear a clicking sound when you hit the starter? That's a low battery, not a dead battery. Low. And that means it can be saved. First fix, charge it properly, and I mean properly, not with some gas station trickle charger from 1995. Get a smart charger, battery tender, NO, or Optimate. These cost $40 to $80 and they'll keep your battery alive for years. Hook up the charger, red to positive, black to negative, let it run overnight. A good charger will tell you when it's done and automatically switch to maintenance mode. But here's the critical test. After charging, measure the voltage with a multimeter. 12.6 to 12.8 volts means healthy. Below 12.4, your battery is sulfated and dying. Replace it before it strands you. Pro tip that'll save you hundreds: if you're storing your bike for winter or not riding regularly, connect a battery tender permanently. The quick disconnect harness takes 5 minutes to install and keeps your battery perfect indefinitely. Now, let's talk about the sound that makes every rider cringe: chain noise. A dry chain sounds like a rusty gate. A loose chain slaps against your swing arm. Both will destroy your sprockets and leave you stranded. But most riders have no idea their chain is screaming for help until it's too late. Here's the test. Put your bike on a rear stand or a center stand, grab the chain at the midpoint between the sprockets, and pull it away from the swing arm. You should have about 1 inch of up and down movement. Less than ½ an inch, too tight. More than 1½ inches, way too loose. A loose chain is dangerous. It can jump off the sprocket while you're riding. I've seen it happen. The chain locks the rear wheel instantly and the bike goes down at whatever speed you're traveling. Not fun. Adjusting chain tension takes 15 minutes. You need 2 wrenches, one for the axle nut and one for the adjuster bolts. Loosen the axle nut a few turns. Turn both adjuster bolts equally on each side to move the wheel back. The markers on your swing arm show if both sides are even. This is critical. Uneven adjustment means your wheel is crooked and your bike handles like garbage. Once tension is right, tighten the axle nut to spec. Check your manual, but it's usually 60 to 90 foot-pounds. Hand tight is not enough. That wheel needs to be locked solid. Chain lubrication is just as important. Every 500 miles or after riding in rain, clean and lube your chain. Use actual chain cleaner and chain lube, not WD-40. I've said it before and I'll say it again. WD-40 destroys chains. It washes out the internal grease. Spray cleaner on the chain while slowly rotating the rear wheel. Let it soak for 2 minutes. Wipe it down with a rag. Then apply chain lube to the inside of the chain while rotating the wheel. Let it sit for 10 minutes so it penetrates the rollers. Wipe off the excess. A well-maintained chain lasts 15 to 20,000 miles. A neglected chain, 3,000 miles before it's toast and taking your sprockets with it. Next problem, squealing brakes. This sound is embarrassing at stoplights, and it's usually a warning. First, let's separate noise from problems. Brand new brake pads often squeal for the first 100 miles while they bed in. That's normal. Brake squeal in the rain? Also normal. Water creates vibration between pad and rotor. But constant squealing in dry conditions means something's wrong. Usually, it's one of three things. Glazed brake pads. This happens when you ride the brakes down a long hill and overheat them. The pad surface hardens and gets shiny. The fix? Remove the pads and rough up the surface with 80 grit sandpaper. Scuff them in a crosshatch pattern. Reinstall and bed them in properly with a series of hard stops for moderate speed. Contaminated pads. If you got oil, chain lube, or brake fluid on your pads, they're done. You can't clean them. Replace them. Pads cost $20 to $50 depending on your bike. Installation takes 20 minutes. Worn pads. Brake pads have a wear indicator, a groove cut into them. No groove visible? Time to replace. Riding on metal backing plates damages your rotors, and rotors cost $200 to $400 each. While you're checking pads, inspect your brake fluid. It should be clear or light amber. If it's dark brown or black, it's absorbed moisture and your boiling point is compromised. Flush and replace it. This is critical for safety, but shops charge $150. You can do it at home for $20 in fluid and an hour of your time. Now the problem that makes riders think their transmission is dying: gear skipping and missed shifts. You're riding along, you shift up and the gear just pops back out. Or you shift and nothing happens. Or it clunks into gears so hard your teeth rattle. 90% of the time, this isn't your transmission. It's your clutch adjustment or your shift linkage. First, check clutch cable free play. Pull the clutch lever. There should be about 2 to 3 millimeters of movement before you feel resistance. Too much free play means the clutch isn't fully disengaging. The bike thinks you're still in gear even when you pull the lever. Adjust it at the lever using the adjuster wheel. Turn it until you have the right amount of free play. Test your shifts. If they're smooth now, you just saved yourself a trip to the shop. Hydraulic clutches can develop air in the system. Spongy lever feel? Bleed the clutch, just like you'd bleed brakes. It takes 15 minutes and costs nothing. Shift linkage gets loose over time. Check the rod that connects your shift lever to the transmission. Any play in the connection? Tighten it. Bent shift lever from a minor drop? That throws everything off. Replace it or bend it back carefully. If you've checked all this and shifts still suck, then yeah, you might have internal transmission issues, but try the simple stuff first. Finally, let's talk about electrical gremlins. These are the problems that make grown mechanics cry. Your bike won't start, but the battery is good. Or your lights flicker, or your turn signals stop working randomly. Electrical problems feel like black magic, but most of them come down to connections. Motorcycles live outside. They see rain, humidity, road salt, and temperature swings. Electrical connections corrode. It's not if, it's when. Start with your battery terminals. Remove them, clean them with a wire brush until they're shiny, and reinstall them tight. Loose battery connections cause more weird electrical problems than anything else. Check your main fuses. Most bikes have a fuse box under the seat or side panel. Pull each fuse and look at the metal strip inside. Broken? Replace it with the exact same amperage. Never ever use a higher amp fuse. That's how you start electrical fires. Ground connections are the hidden problem. Your bike has several ground wires bolted to the frame. Find them, usually near the battery or under the tank. Remove each one, clean both the wire terminal and the frame contact point with sandpaper, then reinstall tight. Bad grounds cause flickering lights, starting issues, and random electrical weirdness. For turn signal problems, it's usually the relay clicking away under your seat. They cost $15 and plug right in. Or you have a burned out bulb throwing off the flash rate. Headlight issues? Check the bulb first, then the connector at the back of the housing. Wiggle it while the light is on. If it flickers, you found your problem. Clean the connector with electrical contact cleaner. Here's the truth about electrical problems. They're tedious, not difficult. You just have to check connections methodically until you find the bad one. The 5 problems I just covered account for probably 70% of the repairs that shops do: battery charging, chain adjustment, brake service, clutch adjustment, and electrical connections. None of them require special tools. None of them require mechanical genius. They just require knowing what to look for.
Every repair you do yourself is money in your pocket and knowledge in your head. Start with these 5 and you'll never be that rider paying someone $200 for 10 minutes of work.